The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the set of my show, The Right Side. Doug Billings here. And I'm coming to you from smack dab in the middle, as always, of the fruited plain, right here in the state of Kansas. Now, another liberal policy that we need to look at in Kansas is the abortion issue. And I know because of the 2022 value them both loss that a lot of politicians in Topeka don't have the stomach to battle the abortion issue. Abortion is never a losing argument for the conservative movement, ladies and gentlemen. We automatically have the moral high ground when we talk about protecting human life, especially unborn human life. We need to, I think, consider several things with regards to abortion. We have got to end this whole abortion destination status that Kansas now has. In 2023, baby butchers performed 19,467 abortions in Kansas. That was a huge increase from the 12,319 in 2022. Now, that number is driven largely by out-of-state residents who are seeking to murder their babies because their states, in our neighboring states, have more restrictive laws regarding abortion than we do here in Kansas. So a 58% rise in abortions in Kansas last year, with 78% of those abortions, that's approximately 15,111, were performed on non-Kansas residents. If it were me, I'd get creative with the governor's powers and options with regards to abortion control. Executive orders. Now, the governor could issue orders directing state agencies to do certain things. The governor wouldn't have power to just end abortion with the stroke of his executive pen. But the governor could direct state agencies like the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, KDHE, to enforce existing regulations more stringently. For example, what do you want to say? Ramping up inspections of abortion clinics under Kansas statutes. Kansas Statute 65 4A10 to be specific. That's the facility licensing requirement these clinics have to pass. Be more aggressive as the governor. Be overly aggressive with your enforcement. That could provide and create burdens, potentially forcing closures of certain clinics without expressly banning abortion itself. Be creative. I would. Another example is ordering the KDHE to prioritize investigations into compliance with informed consent laws or of fetal tissue disposal rules. That would create operational hurdles right away. Do it. And then the governor could use appointments, right? The governor appoints key officials in the state, like the KDHE secretary. He also appoints members of the Kansas Board of Healing Arts. That's the board that licenses physicians in the state. Appoint anti-abortion advocates. Why not? That could lead to stricter oversight of the abortion providing clinics, potentially resulting in license revocations or delays or procedural violations. I mean, you name it. If we just get creative and do these things. Admittedly, that none of that will stop abortions outright, but it could reduce the number of qualified providers over a period of a governor's term, for sure, while the legislation works on creating new laws that I would sign if I were the governor. But there's also budgetary influence, right? The governor proposes the state budget. He could attempt to defund or limit state resources for programs that would indirectly support abortion access, like, for example, cutting public health funds that clinics might rely on for ancillary procedures. Kansas law prohibits the governor from ending abortion outright, And it also prohibits state funds from directly paying for abortions. So that would be a limited lever for a governor to use, but if it could be tied to broader clinical operations and have an effect on the overall numbers at the end of the year. Then there's emergency powers. Now, I like this one. I like it a lot. Under Kansas statute 48904, there is something called the Kansas Emergency Management Act. The governor, go with me on this, just go with me. The governor can declare a state of emergency and issue orders to protect public health. It's a creative move, right? Claiming that abortion poses public health crisis to human babies, justifying temporary restrictions on abortions. Now, look, I know, it would face almost immediate court challenges, but why not do it? Why not make a stand? Why not declare an emergency because this abortion poses an immediate health risk to human babies? Probably almost struck down immediately, but with our current Supreme Court of the United States, one never knows. So why not try it? You're not going to hear any of the candidates have stomach for this, I'm telling you. I would. I'd do it. And I think millions of Kansans would follow me. What a statement that would make, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, there's legislative advocacy. The governor, although not a direct power of his, the governor can use his bully pulpit to push and influence the legislature to, as I mentioned a moment ago, to create new laws. We have a Republican-dominated government in Kansas, a supermajority. We're supposed to be veto-proof in Kansas. Pass restrictive laws, legislature. A total ban. Go for it. Or what about a heartbeat bill? Something that a governor could sign. And I would sign it if I were the governor. Those kinds of things, that's what we need to talk about. I know it's been a difficult 8 years with the commie socialist Laura Kelly in office. Yes, commie socialist. She's not a Democrat. Folks, the Democrat Party does not exist any longer. They've combined communism and socialism together. They're clearly not a pro-America political party, and they are clearly not aligned with the divine providence of God and the intent of the founding fathers. As I always say, evidence of the obvious is sufficient. And like I said, I know that the 2022 loss of the Value Them Both initiative took the wind out of a lot of politicians' sails. They might not have the stomach for this kind of fight on abortion, but we always have the high ground. Abortion is never a losing issue for us. We always stand for life. As MAGA conservative Republicans, we always stand for life at all stages of life, from birth to natural death. This is human life, human babies we're talking about. I've got the stomach for that fight. And I think that anyone who runs for the governorship of Kansas should also have the stomach for that fight. Oh, but Doug, I might not be reelected in another 4 years. Well, so what? Let's make a stand. And you know what? You would be reelected. The Value Them Both issue was a flawed initiative in a few ways, but that's water under the bridge. We're all together. We must unite as MAGA conservative Republicans. We must go forward together, fighting for life, advocating for the unborn, and never relenting. It is always a winning issue for us. Don't buy in to the people that would dare suggest to you, oh, no, Doug, it's a losing issue for us. We don't dare touch that. I've got a seat coming up for re-election in 2026 or 2028. Really? That's the depth, the width, and the breadth of your fight for the unborn? Let's kick it up a notch in Kansas, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a bold step forward. The governor should do this. The governor needs to do this, to be creative, not be afraid of the executive pen with regards to abortion. Think about it, and think about who you would want to run. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. We're in this together in Kansas. Believe it. For the Republic, for Kansas. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.